Once Asgard was created, the gods felt the need to fortify it. They wanted to build huge walls, but none of them could do that. They set out to look for a mighty builder, and soon a man with a horse came. He said he could easily build the wall, but he wanted a huge price for that. He wanted the sun and the moon. The gods were not willing to pay such a price, but Loki, the prankster god, soon thought there was a trick to get it done. He explained to the rest of the gods that they will offer the payment that the builder wanted, but they will set a very short deadline for building the wall. The man would attempt it, but obviously fail. And this way, he will never get the prize, and the gods will not have to build the entire wall, but just finish what the man had started. This sounded like a genius plan, and all gods agreed to it. The man was promised the sun and the moon if he built the wall within 1 season, something a regular man would not even dream to attempt. The man started building at once, and soon the gods were all in distress, for the construction works were going at a very fast pace. The man turned out to be very strong, and the horse, named Svaldifari, very resilient to weather and hardship. Then it came to the gods as blast. This was no regular man, but a Jotun, a giant, who just took on the form of a man. Soon, it became obvious to the gods that the Jotun, with his immense power, would be able to finish the construction work within the set deadline. Gods were furious and scared. They summoned the builder before their divine faces and accused him of trickery. He said he was just a man, and it turned out he was actually a Jotun. The builder remained calm. He said that it was the gods' fault. They made the wrong assumptions and miscalculated. This brought even more distress to the Aesir gods, but Loki always had a good plan. Although, in this case, he decided not to utter a single word to what he's planning. Loki was a shapeshifter, so he decided to change in the beautiful mare and seduce Svaldifari. In his mare form, he would run around the mighty horse, showing his beauty. At some point, the horse got distracted and he started chasing the mare, who was actually Loki, and they both disappeared into the forest. Without his horse, the builder no longer could work as fast as before, yet Jotun was not ready to give up. He no longer had a horse who would help him carry heavy rocks from the mountain tops, so he would do that with his bare hands. And although he struggled every single day, from morning to late afternoon, the gods could see that the pace of the construction work slowed down. The builder worked with all his might, but the days were becoming shorter and shorter, and Svaldifari was nowhere to be seen, and the deadline set by the gods was drawing ever near. On the very last day before the deadline, it became obvious that the Jotun will not be able to finish the work in time. The gods could not be happier. They sent him on his way without any payment, and he left, gathering all his tools. He even decided not to wait on his horse. Once he started traveling to his motherland, Svaldifari appeared out of the blue. And although the builder was happy to see his companion, it was already too late. The deadline was missed. There was no payment for the builder. Although Svaldifari was found, Loki was nowhere to be seen. At first, the Aesir gods were not surprised. Loki would, after all, come and go as he wished, and him disappearing into thin air was nothing surprising. Weeks were going by, then the weeks turned into months, and gods started worrying about Loki. Nearly a year went by when he came back to Asgard. And when he came back, he came followed by an 8-legged horse, whom he introduced as Sleipnir. He presented Sleipnir to Odin the Allfather, and soon the god and the horse became inseparable companions. Yet the gods started thinking, how did Loki come into possession of Sleipnir in the first place? And then they found out Sleipnir was not bought. He was not won in any game. Sleipnir was actually a son of Loki. The 8-legged horse was the fruit of romance between Loki in form of mare and the mighty horse Svaldifari. And actually, what is even more surprising, Loki was not the father of Sleipnir. He was actually a mother. All the gods started joking and laughing at Loki's being pregnant and giving birth to an 8-legged child. All but one. In all this happiness, Odin the Allfather was sitting on his throne with a furrowed brow, thinking, if the offspring of Loki was an 8-legged horse, then what other children may he have birthed or fathered? Odin stopped all the cheering and laughing and joking and demanded all the Loki's offspring to be brought in front of his face. But this is a story for another time.